Hi, how's it going? London is really cold. I think tonight it's going to go down to -6 degrees. Can you believe that? -6 degrees Celsius. It's going to be crazy. I'm also trying a new audio setup, so I hope you can hear me. But anyway, welcome to my public therapy / Insta Live sessions. This week I am speaking to a wonderful friend of mine, Shahjehan. From the band the Kominas, and the Kominas are just fucking great. It literally means the bastards. They're a punk band called the Bastards. It's amazing. Here they are. The Kominas are here. Hi Shreya, how are you? Hi Isuru. Hi Shank, how's it going? And hi Roxy, how's it going? Let me just request the Kominas to join me. Well, Shah to join me. Hi Rekka, how's it going? Big up DJ Rekka. Hey bro.
Hey man, can you hear me?
I can see and hear you. Can you see and hear me?
I can, and you do sound fantastic. So good job.
Excellent. I'm glad that my voice is suitably buttery for you. I like giving you the mukkan voice. Very good. Very good. How you been, bro? You good?
Dude, I've been good, man. Yeah, I just recently got over COVID, so I feel much better. Yeah, it was really bad for a few days. So I was kind of officially came out of isolation last Saturday.
So you feel better?
Yeah, no, I feel pretty much 100%. I worked out yesterday for the first time in like 3 weeks, so I
nice
from that. But yeah,
not so nice then, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I had like a little bit of like reduced lung capacity. So, but otherwise, like, could have been much worse.
Big up Nikesh in the comments. Yeah, man, Nikesh Shukla.
Oh, I see Rekha too. Hi, Rekha.
Yeah, it's really sweet. I love it. I love it when everyone piles in. All your buddies just pop in a line. That's wicked. But yeah, hey, Maniza, yay!
Yeah,
I met her with you guys. In fact, okay, that's it. So I was thinking.
So I was trying to figure out the exact date that we met.
I can tell you.
Oh, you can.
I can tell you exactly when we met.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Okay, because
was it the day of the show? Okay, you tell the story.
No. It was I got an email from Vinny, right? Big up Vinny, Vin Daku. And he was like, oh, there's this band called the Kominas, and they're looking for a manager in the UK to sort of help them out and shit. And then I think we met for a drink at the Old Blue Loft.
Yes. So that what I'm trying to figure out, it was on the day of that awful show, right?
Was it?
Was it? Because it was like before sound check or something. Basically, what I remember is we flew in the night before. We like went to a McDonald's and like ate a bunch of food. Like
right
before that show, we checked in because it was the hotel for the Meltdown Festival.
Okay.
And we broke the rules and booked another gig anyway. So that day, I think we must have been right after the sound check and like before the show or something. So because that's where our first ever like UK gig was.
Was at the Old Blue Loft?
Yeah. Which is cool because it's been.
And I'm sure one of you left a fucking guitar there or something.
Yeah.
I was you dickhead, right?
Yeah, because Isa's on the call. So I actually, at the end of that month, when we were playing the Latitude Festival, where we all went down, you guys rented a van and everything, I left my red guitar, which is the one in that photo, and I just left it with Monize. And then she very, very, very kindly like held on to it for me for like a really long time, and then
that was 2010, right? And then there was the whole big up my Panda Shell Fly Easy Soren, how's it going in the comments? But yeah, you guys flew over. You played Meltdown Festival at South Bank.
Yes.
And you got Fundamental to play, which was wicked because I used to tour with Fundamental when I was in a band called Charge and the punk. So it was just like a mad punk confluence. It was amazing.
Yeah, man, that was seriously one of my all-time kind of favorite memories.
And then obviously Latitude Festival, and I think that's one of my that was awesome because you guys played the BAFTA tent, and it was a whole thing where BAFTA hosted this tent, and if I'm correct, there was like it was like a panel, a screening of a film, and then a gig.
Yeah, we always get put on some kind of panel, one kind of panel or another, but
and I was on the panel bizarrely as well. So that was weird. I was looking after you fuckers and I was on the panel. Which is like double heading that shit.
Yeah. But was it your tent that we used? Or was that Vinny's tent?
I think it was Vinny's. I think I was being proper like strict manager, saying "fuck you guys, I've got my own tent. You can all fuck off."
Who rented the See, these are the things I think of now that I've done the kind of management side. I'm always like, okay, well, like who was like logistically like handling all this crap, and like who was
I think Vinny was your road manager.
Yes.
He was TMing you. Yeah. He drove the van. So I don't know whether he hired it or I hired it. I'm pretty certain I probably hired it, I think.
Yeah. And then as I drove in, we were listening to the Jurassic Park theme song.
Oh, you're glitched. Sorry, bro, you glitched out. What did you say?
Oh, I was saying as we drove into the campsite, we listened to the Jurassic Park theme. Do you remember that?
I went in a separate car, right? So I was in a car with Hamad, who put us all together. Huds, who was the director of Kidulthood. And then on that car journey, I was saying all sorts of shit to him. Like I was telling him some bullshit jokes like, what did the yogurt say to the milk? What's up, dude? And all this kind of shit. What did the big pizza say to the little pizza? Oi, Pizza Hut. All this kind of shit. And it made it into his fucking film, bizarrely. And then I ended up doing the soundtrack for his film based on that car journey. So I was in a separate car entirely.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, you were like proper banding it, and I was proper like
you were
distancing it.
Trying to get into this movie. So good job.
Well, I didn't even try. It just fucking happened. I mean, it's funny. But then, so that's it. And also, so you had a documentary based. Well, you were in the documentary called Takwakor, about Takwakor, right? Which was essentially Muslim punks in America.
Yeah.
So that was a documentary, and how did that all come about? Do you want to tell me about it? Because I still don't fucking know. I haven't seen it.
It's funny because it's been such a like, for better or for worse, it's been such a formational, I think, part of the band's history. But yeah, we were hit up in I think 2006 by this. So the band started around 2004, 2005. Just DIY. In parents' garages and stuff, like using MySpace. And I think we had just started to put out songs and stuff online when we were contacted by the director of the film, Omar Majid. He's a badass dude whose mom is actually a famous singer in Pakistan, Musarrid Nazir. Like she wrote that song, Mera Long Gulach. So we all met up, I think in 2006 was when we maybe started to shoot the first scenes of that. And then we went on this crazy kind of like tour of the U.S. where we bought a school bus off of eBay, and just like we just drove around and did a bunch of dumb shit. And then the following year, after we had put out like our first record, Basim had moved to Pakistan. I had dropped out of college and stuff, and I was doing nothing, and so I just basically followed him out there. Yeah, so we both ended up there, and then they ended up shooting a little bit more of it.
And you ended up playing like Kominas shows in Pakistan as well.
We didn't technically play as the Kominas because we were like afraid. But
okay, like real punks, real sticking it to the man.
I mean, it probably would have been fine, honestly, in retrospect. But like our initial, our first album had like a pretty crazy cover and some crazy songs and stuff. So we didn't have the whole band with us. So it was actually just Basim and I that had gone over there. So it didn't feel right to kind of play.
What was your first album called?
Our reputations followed us there and stuff. And so it's been pretty cool. Like I've been back to Pakistan a few times since then. And what I thought was kind of like more of like a lot of people know us in Pakistan, which has been really, really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And also there's this weird, like obviously like talking about Pakistani musicians that had films. Obviously, Riz was on that whole trip as well because they did Four Lions the day after your gig, right?
Around that same time in I think 2006 or 7, and he's in a scene with us. He ended up coming to this like super punky underground show, and he did his like Sour Times rap with Arno, who was playing drums, and he also did I think he did like there's shots. He's just like moshing in the crowd, and then he was also at this like we ended up like open mic gig. It was like a convention where we just went and we signed up, and they kicked us off. But then Riz was trying to like fight for our rights.
Well, your audio cut out just then. Retell that entire last section.
Shit, what was the last thing you heard?
I literally went space kicked off, and I was like, what did I miss? You fucker.
We had gotten invited to play this open mic, or we signed up for an open mic at this Islamic convention, and they threw up, it was like 2 a.m. and then as soon as we got on, they basically just tried to throw us off. But then Riz was up there trying to like be like, bruv, like, do you know you've got to like let them, you've got to let them, play. It was, so yeah, anyway.
Your English accent is shit.
Not good.
It's proper shit.
I'm working on it.
That's your best Riz impression. Fuck.
So, yeah.
Maybe. I'll happily assist. But so obviously we met. You did this string of shows, and there was one memory that I've got vividly where we booked you into a gig in Hoxton Square in Shoreditch, and it was like with a series of other bands, and then you guys played Sharia law in the UK. And there was just a walkout of people. It was fucking hilarious. It was so funny. So funny. The club just emptied out because you were playing that. It was amazing.
I actually don't remember that specifically, but I obviously, again, I remember the logistical mishap. So I just remember that, like, we needed a cymbal. So you, like, got us some cymbals and stuff. So
there was some...
I mean, that doesn't surprise me that people...
Yeah. I mean, I think the irony of the fact that it's meant to relate to anarchy in the UK was lost on people. It was just like,
they were like, no, we're not feeling it.
So, I mean, how did the band, so obviously then there was the feature film, The Taqwa Cause as well, right?
Yeah.
And you guys weren't in it?
It was this weird, man, it was this weird kind of a time where, like, we got all this attention. We always had like non-Muslim members in the band. So it was definitely like, and it's not that we didn't write songs, that would, I guess, classify us as a Muslim punk band and stuff, but like, we wrote lots of other stuff, like it was in retrospect, like, I'm kind of like, however you found out about us is cool, whatever, what parts you relate to, that's awesome. I think that it caused a little bit of, or a good amount of friction just because of the whole, like when you get labeled or put into a box, or like, people try to like
categorize you into sort of,
like, write about you, and you're like a unknown band and stuff. It's like all this stuff is happening and you don't quite know exactly how to deal with it.
And you're all fucking kids as well at the end of the day as well. You're just starting out, so you're all fucking kids as well at the end of the day. So I'm like,
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's cool. Honestly, it's been, if you think about it, it's been 15 or 16 years.
Wow.
That's been a thing. We always joke. I think, like, all of us always think that we're like done, but we're never quite done. And at the end of the day, like, we're still friends, which I think is super cool. It's really positive and important because we've been, I don't have to tell you, like, being in a band has all these, whatever.
It's a fucking shit show. Yeah. it's a shit show. It's a shit show. Yeah.
I think the plus of it and the hard part is that it is a democracy. You know what I mean? Like, we're all four of us have an equal say and stuff. There's no like band leader. So we all, it's funny, like when you asked me to be on this live, I was like, and you asked me correctly. I was like, yeah, I just want to double check with the guys that it's cool that I like.
Yeah.
And they were all like, yeah, it's all cool. It's good. But it's kind of like, you have to make sure, in order to like nurture these relationships, you have to make sure to check in with each other about stuff, and it can, but ultimately I think it's like a really cool experience. But yeah, dude, it's been 15 years. Like, pretty much my entire adult life has been, for better or worse, like wrapped up in this thing that I've been doing. So, like, no matter what else I do, and it's cool now, what I mean? It's like, people know me for it. Like, that's fine. I'm super grateful and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild, if you think about like just the person that I was, that we all were, like when we were, 19, 20 years old, and then still to be just like doing this thing, and it's crazy.
It is mad. I was talking to Steve from Asian Dub Foundation about that whole thing, and just sort of doing it for so long is fascinating, because I'm like, I don't think I'm like, I was in this band Charged, and it was, I think that the tension of the various members is what made it so exciting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the sheer kind of like aggression between members all came out on stage, and it was fucking brilliant. But it kind of also means that you kind of end up burning out a little bit, or you kind of get exhausted.
Yeah, Yeah, man, it's tough. It's like, you know, you never, even when you're like, especially when you're touring, I think, you're not, you might be inhabiting the same space physically, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like mentally, you might all just be in a different place, you know?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And so it's important to try, you know, after this many years, like, you know, and I'm not saying we're like perfect at it by any means, but it's I think at the end of the day, it's important for everybody to feel like they can like vent about stuff. They can kind of like do their own thing if they need to. I know for me, like being sober, like being able to make sure that I'm taking care of that stuff. So, you know, I want to say that 15 years later, we're like really great at it, but like, you know, we still,
it's still a fucking shit show. That's the thing, you know. I mean, you know, obviously, again, there's no point reiterating the whole COVID and no gigs thing. But have you guys been recording anything new, or have you been like jamming or whatever? Like,
honestly, we did. We were planning on getting together this past November around quote unquote Thanksgiving time here in the U.S., but we just decided that it just wasn't safe. We were gonna, I think, get together at Bossam's folks' place. Which is where we've, you know, over the years done a bunch of like recording and jamming and stuff, but it just didn't, unfortunately, it just didn't make sense. So we haven't seen it. So I saw Bassam over Thanksgiving, which was the first time I saw him in 8 months. But Sonny, Karna, we haven't all seen each other in over a year. You know, it's been really, really wild because so those two are in New York, Sonny and Corno. And then I'm here in Boston and Bassam was in Toronto. So it's been a tough year. I think we all, because we're such a live band, dude, you know, like I know that we're, you know, obviously we're a little bit older. So like, in terms of, like, I mean, you know, some of us are more active online than others, you know, but we're, I think, at least for me, we're like primarily like a live act and a live experience, you know what I mean? And so it's like, it's been really tough to not be able to do that. You know, we've gotten around a couple of ways. Like there's this awesome festival in the UK called Decolonize, which had us do like a kind of a virtual thing. So we did one of those, like there's that Instagram app, whatever, acapella, where you can like, it's kind of like video multi-tracking, so that you can record in one square. So it was a good way to kind of feel connected. You know, we have a little text thread going where we send each other dumb shit. We try to, you know,
like you dick pick yourselves and stuff all the time.
God.
I mean, me and my male friends have a group, and literally, it's just the most homoerotic group you've ever seen in your life. It's ridiculous.
Ours is more just like, it's actually really sweet. We just like send each other supportive messages or, you know, funny memes and stuff. So it's you know, it's a nice, because these guys are like, these are like my best friends. You know, but it's weird because like we don't, when you are involved, I think, in that kind of a relationship with your best friends, like it has its ups and downs and stuff, but I mean at the end of the day, like there's just so much love there that,
totally you know. Big up Aria and Zaki in the comments. Yeah, man, totally all about the dick pics. But I mean that's the one thing that I do, the one, it's so funny where as soon as you mention Bassam, and I haven't seen him for years, but I distinctly remember his concave stomach. It's just the fucking image that came to mind of his little sort of boobies and concave stomach, because when he was topless. And I just like, I can't get this image out my fucking head.
Maybe we've all got a little bit of an uncle gut now, but you know, I don't know any more about the concavity.
Dude, the last time I saw you guys was actually again at the Old Blue Last, which was this.
That's the cool thing about that venue, man. It's got such a like place in my heart. I don't know, but yeah, we did that last gig together. That was a fun show, man. It was like, I mean, I don't know how it was for you, but for me personally, like it was so cool to, especially because the first time we played was such a train wreck and disaster. This time to go, and you know, that was our first time ever in like your neck of the woods. And since then we've always just had so much like love from the UK. And I remember this last time so this was 2017, I think.
Yeah, 2017.
It was packed, man. It was just like packed out the door. And it was such a like family kind of vibe, which is what I've always felt with this band. Like, yeah, you know, we're not like super, you know, famous on like a commercial level, but like in terms of the community that like we've been able to create, it's something that we like really value, you know. It's just always such like a family vibe. And in terms of like, you know, obviously we've done big gigs and stuff too, but it's more often than not, it's the smaller, like more intimate ones where we're just, you know, people that we've like known forever come out remember this last time, there was just so many Kominas t-shirts at the gig too. I just was like, really.
What the fuck? Do you know what? It was interesting because every fucking brown freak I know was on the lineup or at the gig. Like every one of us. It was amazing. It was like every single brown weirdo was there.
Honestly, by the time we got up there, it was like 1 a.m. So it was like, I think everybody was probably like a little bit tired and stuff, but like it was awesome. It was like.
Did you come to the after party that we threw as well?
Do you remember the after party?
No, I was shit faced. I remember I was meant to be DJing. And I remember Vinny and Dee were next to me, and I got my laptop, and I was stumbling, and I literally had my laptop in my hand, and then just fell over on the floor.
Do you remember when you stumbled? Do you remember what the first thing you said to me was? It was absolutely true. You were like, "Mate, the Tuts were better than you." Tuts were better. Like, I know you're right. Like 10 years younger than us. Like, this is the last gig on the tour. Like, we don't give a shit. And I'm so sad they're not. I hope they get back together. They're like awesome.
The Tuts were amazing.
Yeah, but that was the first thing you said to me at the after party, and maybe one of the only things. I think you literally just stumbled and you're like, "The Tuts are better than you."
It just fucked off somewhere. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. That sounds like something I'd do.
But that's what it was maybe like what 30, 40 of us folks, like you, Vinny, I think Decode was there, Sikander,
Nikesh, obviously.
Yeah, Nikesh was there, and then so man, it's just like always been family vibes.
Yeah,
with this band.
So, yeah, totally. That gig was fucking amazing. Well, I think I ended up walking home crying, obviously, because I was so battered. And I think another point. I think I just I went to the back room of that venue, the after party, and sat down. I had a little cry with a friend of mine as well. I was very emotional that day.
Oh wow! I had no idea. I would have given you.
I think it was definitely just I drank a shitload. That's probably what it was. Like I was really. Yeah, totally. And I think I was very touched by just the amount of sort of brown freaks that were out and celebrating each other. It was wicked.
Yeah, and actually, like I don't know, it's kind of like. In one way, obviously, like you and I didn't grow up together, but like I still feel like I've known all you guys. Just even if we just hang out once every couple of years or something, it just feels really.
I think it's actually once every 7 years, dude.
What's that?
It was once every 7 years. It was 2010 and then 2017.
Oh my god! But see, it doesn't even feel like that. Like I don't know. Hopefully, yeah.
Proper crazy.
You and I were supposed to meet up here in New York before your.
My accident. Yeah. Before a half-ton tabletop landed on my leg and destroyed my knee.
I thought you were kidding when you said that.
No, man. Yeah. It literally just shredded the inside of my knee. And that would have been a sick gig. It was like, who was in the lineup? It was me, you, sorry?
Monica,
Vandana. It was a cool lineup, man. It would have been a wicked New York gig.
I remember because you had asked me to DJ and I was like, hey, so I've never done this before. I downloaded this software. You're like, dude, don't get such. Just get to like USB keys and you're gonna be fine. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, totally. I love bullying people that haven't DJ'd before into DJing.
It's a great idea, man. Why not take
it? Anyone can do it. It's so easy. It's just like press fucking play. And I say that as a DJ.
I was about to say you're not really talking yourself up very much.
It's easy. I mean, God, I was looking back at I was going through pictures of all the stuff we've done together and looking back, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to go on tour and DJ.
Yeah.
And it's been. Sorry?
Do you miss touring?
Do you know what?
You like a person? I'm wondering how it is as a DJ. Like if the experience is different.
I think touring as a DJ and not in a band sucks when you're on your own. Like it's fucking shit. The isolation is horrible. So I hate touring when it's just me going to a gig, playing, and then coming back. It's the worst.
Yeah, because the best parts for me are not even. I mean, the gigs are one thing, but like just the random shit you do in between, and like the weird people that you run into, or TSA border agents that stop you and detain you. So those are the stories that you remember.
Well, exactly. It's all about the stupid shit, and obviously the gigs are great. I mean, like going and doing gigs in a city where people is obviously always better. You know what I mean? Because it's fun. Which is why I love touring India, because there's like the similar sort of feel for you over here when there's a whole crew. It's like that in India for me. I've got London and Bombay.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really miss Bombay. The States as well, obviously, like, New York and San Fran and LA, there's whole crews there,
When is the last time you were out here in the States?
I was in LA last, what year is it? I'm just like, what fucking year was it? Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
I was in LA in 2019. But again, it was after I'd just done a massive festival in India with Budweiser. So we took out like the Foreign Beggars, Sub Focus. I put a whole sort of lineup together and collaborations and stuff. So it was a really big project I was working on for a year. And that was in March and April 2019. And so then I just went to LA for a quick holiday, like a break.
Yeah.
And just sort of took that time off. And then ended up raving in the warehouse district in LA, which was wicked.
Naturally.
Yeah, that was awesome. I forgot about that. Marla was there. Dubstep DJ Marla from DMZ. Oh, well, he ended up playing then. It was just like, okay, wicked. So yeah, it was dope. I kind of missed touring to the degree that I used to fucking moan about being stuck in transit and no sleep and all that. And now I really want to be fucked up at an airport.
I enjoy all of the mundane aspects of it. Like we've been talking about a little bit, when Sonny and I were on the phone recently, where we were just like, what could we do when eventually it's safe to do so? Like something that we haven't done is Far East, like Indonesia, Vietnam.
Oh, mate.
Kind of just do, and we have like weird pockets of, how we are, like we have like weird pockets of fans in places. So like, just doing some kind of like DIY punky tour of like those spots would be cool.
What's that? Is that all girl hijabi punk band from Indonesia?
Yeah.
They will kick your fucking ass. If the Tuts kicked your ass, these girls will kick your fucking ass.
Funniest thing about Indonesia, actually, so that the poster that you made for this live thing, which has my friend Umar feeding me a burrito.
Okay.
That's actually from that basement gig that we were talking about before. But anyway, so this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. We basically found out. So there's a crew, like there are actual real like Muslim punks out there who think that we're the sellouts.
Yeah.
Who rightly so are like, who are these like middle class kids from the fucking United States? Like, what the hell do they know about like, the shit that we've actually had to go through?
And they've had the fictional film made about them.
Yeah.
And the documentary, like,
exactly.
These poses. Yeah.
Like, it's like whatever. But so somebody found a zine, which was essentially like giving us shit and saying all these things. And they took that photo and they superimposed a fist where that burrito is going into my face. So I wish I had.
Amazing. Is it online or is there a picture of it somewhere?
I'm sure I could find it. I'm sure I could find it and send it to you.
That's got to be a fucking next album cover or single cover or something. That's amazing.
So, if we go to Indonesia, like maybe somebody would beat the crap out of us, or no? I think we'd have like a pretty good time. So.
That'd be amazing. I hope you get your asses kicked. That'd be wicked. Yeah, Mikey in the comments is saying, I'm a concert lighting designer and I haven't worked. And I used to hate those 18-hour days. Now I long for it. Bruv, feel you. Like, one of my things that I really miss about touring in India, it's the weird things that come in. It's like, I'd do a gig somewhere and either in Bangalore or Delhi or somewhere, and then fly back to Bombay. But every single time I was at an airport, I'd have like a beer and some idli sambar. And that's, I fucking miss it.
Maker. I haven't used it once this whole fucking quarantine. So
lame.
Super lame.
Lame. Actually, that's the other thing. Okay, so this is talking about sort of shit we bought in quarantine. Both you and I are massive Lego fans.
Yes, we are. I have all 3 of them sitting right here. That I made.
That's fucking cool.
We discovered that I don't know. Maybe I was watching your Instagram or something that you're really into Legos, and
dude! Look what I've got! I've got our boy.
Oh, is that Riz?
That's Riz from Star Wars.
That's like still.
Actually, is he on the wall? That's his character thing there. But yeah.
Not even. I can't. That's got to be really crazy.
That's so funny. I've got our boy as a Lego toy. When I feel really lonely, I just put it up my bottom.
Me and my partner, we were watching. either a Lego documentary or some like Netflix series about like toys from the 90s. And one of them was about
the toys that made us.
Yes, that's what it was. The toys that made us. Exactly. Yeah. And it was the Lego episode. And at the end of it, I was like, I turned to her and I was like, dude, I haven't played with Lego since I was like 8 or 9 or 10 or something. And I used to love doing this. Me and my dad, like my dad was like really, really good at just like he would buy a bunch of shit and then just like make his own thing. Like he wouldn't follow directions.
That's fucking cool. So he's free. He's a free builder.
Yeah, he's a free builder. Yeah, it makes it sound like a Freemason or something. But so I decided that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy like a Lego. So I didn't even know like what they were now. So I looked it up. I looked up the Lego like creator set, and then I bought this.
That's so cool.
Fiat, this like 900 piece Fiat thing, and I told Nerm about it, and he was like, "Bro, we gotta like do a build together." And then I think I called you. I did this one. And then I think the next one that I bought was this one, this Harley Davidson.
That's so cool.
Motorcycle thing. And it's funny because I'm totally not a car guy or like a motorcycle person.
I was going to say, dude, all of the majority of...
I don't know about like exhaust or fucking... I want to at some point like learn how to ride a motorbike, but what I'm afraid is going to happen is that not that I'll get into an accident like, going fast, that I'll just be like parked at like a traffic light and I'll just like fall over. So yeah, that one, and then the very last one that I have gotten was this one.
I mean, that is awesome, but why vehicles then?
Dude, I don't know. They just like the two of them were on sale, and I wanted to progressively make more, ones that had like more pieces in them, just so I occupy like more time and stuff. But I don't know, what should I get next?
See, most of mine's Star Wars based. I've got like the Death Star and I've got like the Millennium Falcon, but this is pretty, and obviously Riz, but this is like my real super nerdy thing.
This one?
This is the club that Prince played Purple Rain in Minneapolis, First Avenue.
Oh my God! Wow.
And that's the inside of the club, and so it's a Lego First Avenue.
That's about as nerdy as it gets, dude.
It's proper nerdy.
But like for me though, like what would they? I mean, they don't make like Lego guitars, as far as I know.
Of course they fucking do.
Do they?
You can make Lego anything, dude.
No, but I need directions. I'm not a free builder, dude. I need instructions. So, are you telling me that I could make like a Gibson Les Paul or something?
Yeah, totally.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's instructions online as well. There's like groups where they actually, put that stuff together and make the instructions for you.
All right.
And there's dude, you can add pickups and strings and shit.
What?
I've just literally pulled it. Hang on, I'll show you.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Well, this is a challenge I must accept. Behind the brick.
Look at that.
Get out.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Brett. Oh my God.
There you go, bro.
All right. Well, I guess I need to like do my homework.
Yeah, Mikey in the chat said you got to make it yourself. That's true. That is true. And yeah, big up Prithvi saying that they make cities too. That Taj Mahal, the Lego Taj Mahal.
I mean, that's the one that, what is that, like 6,000, 9,000 pieces or something? I don't know where I would put it in our apartment.
Yeah, totally.
My name.
Well, that's it. So as well as building stuff out of Lego in lockdown, you've got a career budding as an actor as well. Yeah. Is that like what's happening there?
So it's a weird time. Like productions and stuff are coming back. So I've been acting professionally now for probably 3-4 years. I haven't done anything like huge that people would have seen or whatever, but I did, for example, just do sort of like a Netflix movie here in Boston as just the kind of like a featured extra, but you quarantine for like a week before you actually shoot. And then and then once you're on set, everybody's following precautions and stuff. I think it's an interesting time. Like we were talking about touring. Like one thing I miss doing actually is physically going for auditions. So I actually that process. And now it's all self tapes. So you're doing it at home, which has its, obviously like you have a little bit more control. You can kind of like, you don't have to worry so much about like nerves and stuff. You can like pick whatever take and stuff you want. But I mean, I do miss the kind of one-on-one interaction with people.
Yeah.
I've been doing a bunch of voiceover. So I've been a voice actor for a little bit longer than I've been like a theater and screen actor.
Yeah.
So I have, a pretty decent setup here at home. But for example, tomorrow I'm actually driving to Rhode Island to do just a commercial kind of in-studio session. But like I'll go in, I don't even go into the same room as the client is on the phone, like over Source Connect or whatever.
Right.
And I just go in and I step into my like booth and then I do my thing and then I leave.
And just yeah. And
I did do some pretty fun virtual like Zoom theater over last year. So I got to do a really, really cool show called Guards at the Dodge. It's about these two guards in the 1600s, Humayun and Babur, who are guarding the Taj Mahal as it's like kind of being built. And it's a play about power and authority and kind of like whether you should just accept orders and stuff like that. So it was a fun show. We hired like a projection designer and just tried to make sort of like the Zoom medium interesting. And I think we did a pretty good job.
Did you catch Riz's live show?
I did not. No. How was it?
I'll send you a link. It's pretty interesting. It's like live, and then it was really fascinating. Like,
I saw some like behind the scenes where he was kind of like. So is he going in different spaces and stuff? Or?
Yeah, in different rooms and stuff. It was remotely triggered with lighting and shit. It was quite ambitious. I was quite like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think people enjoyed. There's something about like even like what we're doing here. Like there's something about like the live medium which people do find interesting. But I'm for sure
it's the possibility of fucking up. It's like whenever I do radio, like I'd have to pre-record my Asian Network show. But on Radio 1, we'd always push for live because you're broadcasting to the whole nation and you can fuck up at any moment and that keeps you on edge. You know what I mean? It's just like I hate
energy and stuff.
Yeah, so Decode used to like pre-mix all of his stuff, right? And I was just like, you're a dick. Like the whole idea of fucking up a mix on air is what keeps me going. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like he was just...
Good shout out to Decode, by the way. His fitness videos I absolutely love. So I'm such a fan of that stuff. So I think it's
awesome. So you're one of the 2 people that watch it. I'm joking.
Don't be mean.
He's my boy. Of course I can be mean to him. Of course. It's exactly the same as being in a band. That's it. Going on like being a DJ in a duo or in a crew is so much better than solo for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Even when they drive you insane, to be perfectly honest with you, you just like you do miss it. There's nothing.
And then you kind of, there was this one time on tour where we just couldn't even talk to each other because we were just pissed off with each other for no reason. It was just like, I need some fucking time apart. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, that's the other thing. I was talking to Pavan from Foreign Beggars, ex-Foreign Beggars, right? And we were sort of discussing, like, I think we were on a call with a bunch of friends. We were just sort of like sharing stupid stories. It's like, I've got nothing to fucking say because all my stupid shit comes from going on tour. But all these fucking stories come from being in this really weird situation at some fucking fancy hotel somewhere where you really don't belong, but you're there because you're a musician. Right, and, jumping into a security scanner and shit for baggage, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was your chat with Steve where you asked him, what was it like to sort of like go on your first big or do like your first big thing, but then like not have any cash. Like, and it reminded me of when we did we did that Maida Vale session with Bobby, you guys and everything. And then like, we didn't know where we were sleeping that night. You know what I mean? Like, so like after because obviously like, I did a terrible job fucking planning shit out. And we had to get to that the gig that you booked us in Brighton Beach, I think the next day or something like that. And we ended up crashing at Hamad's.
Okay.
But there was like a 3 or 4 hour period where we were literally, I don't remember, it was near, obviously, after the Maida Vale thing, that we all went out to the bar or whatever. And after that, everybody said their goodbyes. And I don't think you guys knew maybe, or we didn't even realize that, we had literally nowhere to go. So we were sitting on our guitar cases on the side of the road for like 3 hours.
Just going, fuck.
We had one phone between like the 5 of us. I remember it was Ellister's like BlackBerry or whatever. And we were just like trying to count the minutes and stuff to make sure that we have enough money like left on the thing. And so it's just like, wow.
That is so fun. Because that Maida Vale session was fucking dope. And I remember going to the pub with you guys and we had a few drinks afterwards and stuff, and then I just fucked off, and I didn't realize you guys were homeless.
Oh yeah, Hamad was like, yeah, come over.
Amazing, amazing, and he was West as well, I guess. So that made sense going from there to there to there. But yeah, I think when I first started touring, it was we played this huge festival with Charge, the band I was in, and would go, would get flown to countries and get picked up and looked after and fed, and anything you wanted was there. You know what I mean? It was just fucking brilliant. And then landing back at Heathrow and not having enough money to get the tube home was just like, fuck. Like, it was just such a come down, such a like crushing come down. You're like, fuck. How am I going to get back? Like, it was insane. It was properly, it was a real head fuck. And I'm sure you guys must have had that several times.
Yeah, dude. I mean, again, like, we're sort of like, we've been a weird sort of a band in the sense that, we were never on a major label or label even at all. But we, like, even this last tour that we were just talking about in 2017 when we ended up at Old Blue Last and stuff, that was the sort of the tail. Actually, that was the burnout year. We played like 90 something shows and just a bunch of too much touring. But that particular one, like, we spent that whole month because we got invited to play this punk festival who flew us out to Norway and put us up. But then, we had to fill in the stuff in between ourselves, and like, but in there, somehow we booked a gig at the Spotify headquarters in Stockholm because I have a friend who works at Spotify. So they flew us out and put us up for one night. And then a friend of ours, like, got us to Nuremberg to play with her, Nuremberg, and but like, we didn't get paid for that. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was like kind of mixing and matching stuff and, filling bigger, because we're not, again, because we didn't have a label, we didn't have like a booking agent. So any of the festival gigs that we're doing, like, around those, we got to fill them in with bar gigs and stuff like that too. So.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, like, so no labels approached you even at the sort of the peak of your fame when you guys had like all these movies.
It's not that labels. No, we did get approached by a couple. I think in retrospect, it's probably good that we didn't sign with anybody, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, you remember we were pretty disorganized, but I think in terms of what was happening with us, looking at it retrospectively, I think what could have happened in a way, and I have, this is just my own conjectures, it's just the kind of like the packaging and stuff that I feel like we might have inadvertently gone down like the wrong road with that. I think that, and I mean, I think the last time a label did approach us, like, seriously, it was an indie kind of Brooklyn-based label. This would have been in 2016, 2017. But it wasn't clear that it would be necessarily advantageous for us to sign with them. You know what I mean? Because when you talk to other artists that were on the label, they were like, yeah, I mean, obviously they distribute our music and stuff. But as far as that, I mean, now it's kind of like what you really need is like a booking agent and like some PR and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I can't say because I've never like been on a major label. So I don't you know what I mean? Like, I don't know like what it's like and any of that. But I'm just like, at the end of the day, like, I'm pretty happy with the way things kind of, 'cause we got to do so much cool shit. We still get invitations and stuff. So I'm not like, I think there was a time, I think probably in my 20s when I was a little bit more just like, oh my God, like, we got to fucking be huge. We got to be the next like Rage Against the Machine or whatever. But like, at the end of the day, like, I like how it's turned.
That's so funny because I think that you've just reminded me of how I was in like sort of my early 20s, and I was just like, I can see this. It's got to happen faster. You know what I mean? It's got to fucking like all of that. You've just made me forget about that.
The one member of our band, Sonny. So he's the one. So he was in a band with his brothers called the Popo. They were signed with, I think, Buddy Head Records first. And then they were signed with Diplo. They toured with 9 Inch Nails. So he has that experience, kind of going from literally one night playing a bar in Philly to getting seen by like Trent Reznor's manager or something for an opening slot where the band had like dropped out. And they literally went overnight to tour Europe with 9 Inch Nails. And so he saw kind of like the other side of stuff. But it's really... He's a really like wise dude, Sonny. So I mean, he
seems incredibly calm. I don't really know him as well as I know you.
He is like, Sonny is like and not to say, like, he's just the quintessential, like, artist dude. Like, he just doesn't give a fuck about labels, about people. He's just doing his own thing, and he's a genius for it. Like, in terms of, he's taught me so much about songwriting, about, you know, in terms of, like, you know, influencing on, like, guitar playing. Playing with him has really, like, changed the game for me. But yeah, just getting back to the stuff with labels and stuff. So he's kind of seen that other side of stuff, and he's, you know, he's somebody that, like, he'll have, like, he probably has, like, hundreds and hundreds of hard drives, like, filled with songs, but he doesn't, just because some label wants to put it out, like, if it doesn't feel right to him, like, he's not going to do it. And he's, like, better, you know, and so I've learned a lot of, like, I think patience and stuff for him. Because I definitely was, I think, like you were saying, like, being, like, the one that's like, no, we got to fucking, you know, and it's hard, I think, also when you do get all this attention, sort of, like, not out of the blue. I'm not saying we didn't work hard, but we were kind of a weird sort of a band that people latched onto in this kind of, like, weird way. And before we knew it, we had this film being made about us and all this stuff. And it was easy to kind of, like, I think, get caught up in that stuff a little bit too much.
It's interesting. I was thinking about this a lot recently, about the differences of, you know, of being popular in America versus over here. And I think over here, people give less of a fuck. They're kind of a bit more chill about it. Whereas in America, it's a much bigger deal, because I guess the celebrity idea of celebrity over there is much more celebrated and exalted somewhat.
Do you think this is accurate to say that, like, people, like, value music more, though, where you are, in terms of, you know, like, being a band? Like I remember touring through Europe, being, like, a, you know, whatever DIY band, but, like, the promoter, like, making sure you had a place to stay at night, or, like, picking you up from the train station, or, like, whatever, just little things like that, or, like, making sure you had a guarantee. I don't know if that's just, like, something that was true for us, or. And in
you mean in England? You mean in England versus Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, in England, no one gives a fuck. That's the thing. I think that's it. I think there's a healthy amount of cutting you back down to earth. Yeah, for sure. There's no real exaltation, I don't think, unless you get into sort of, like, tabloid celebrity and that kind of, you know, mainstream celebrity. But I don't know, actually, maybe it's just me, because I think the only one person I would ever have been in awe of was Prince, and he's gone now anyway. So I just don't give a fuck about anyone. You know, I respect everyone and, you know, whatever, but I'm not like, oh my God, about anyone.
That was probably me, Rage Against the Machine. So
yeah. And you've still got them, you lucky bastard.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. But Zaki, who is on the chat, is an amazing film director, but he was also in a band called Temple, and we booked them to play at Vibe Bar many years ago. He was asking if you guys played one of our shows at Vibe Bar. I don't think you did. On Brick Lane?
I don't believe so. I mean, I remember eating a lot of food on Brick Lane with you, but I don't remember playing at Vibe Bar.
I don't think so either.
Where is Rich Mix? Is that in the same?
That's up the road. It's the top end of Brick Lane. Vibe Bar was in the middle of it. Yeah, I don't think we did a gig there.
No, I don't believe so. I think you took me there, maybe, on that first trip, but no, I don't think we did.
Oh, we did a lot of roaming around on that first trip.
We definitely did.
There was a lot of, like, and that was, you know, like I said, I was looking back at things. I was like, fuck, I used to go out and socialize. I used to actually be a DJ. Fucking all this, you know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No,
crazy.
I remember that first time also. I think it might have been the day of the Meltdown sound check. Nikesh, I think, took me out to eat. He took me out to eat in Brick Lane, and then you joined us.
Okay.
And then else came, and that was, like, it was cool. It was cool for me because, like, I mean, yeah, I grew up around basically all white kids. So, like, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't grow up. I grew up in, like, a suburb of Massachusetts. It's not that I didn't have, like, a South Asian community, but I just felt like, you know, I don't know. I had, like, Basim, but other than that, I didn't really like it.
That's so sweet. I had Basim. That was really cute. But I kind of, how did you, I mean, this is interesting because growing up in Birmingham, like I did, it was like everyday casual racism, like constantly. And it was, you know, I was generally very, very, very bullied as well. So I'd, like, you know, get beaten up by brown kids in my neighborhood, black kids on the way to school, and then white kids at school. So it was just a general violent existence. But it was fascinating because as soon as the freak that I was became accepted or whatever. When I was like, I remember this distinctly at 16. I went from being the dirty packy that got beaten up to suddenly being cool. It was just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It was just a weird transition because all the differences that made me such a weirdo freak became acceptable. It was fascinating looking at, say, people that were really racist to me in the past, suddenly sort of, you know, saying they knew me and shit. And that was a real, like, wow. Did that happen to you with the Kominas and that sort of background?
In my particular case, it was more on the micro aggression level. So I was, you know, I grew up very comfortably in a small kind of like suburb of Massachusetts. So I was essentially like the one brown kid in my friend group. So it's funny that you're asking me this. So literally last night, I'm actually working on this new podcast series about the 20th anniversary of 9/11 and stuff. And I was talking to my high school friends about it. And in terms of like overt, so I never got like beaten up or anything like that. In terms of like overt racist shit, I honestly it's not until like later in life that you're like, oh, when that kid used to call me fucking that, he was a dick about it. You know what I mean? It's stuff that like, because, you know, I think for me at least, like I had the privilege of not having to deal with, you know, because I was able to very neatly not neatly, but like divide the like, okay, now I'm like the community kid on the weekends with my parents. But now, like, unfortunately, like when I'm back in high school, like I'm trying my best, like not to stick out. So I'm just like being like, whatever, Shahjehan, the guitar player, or the fucking stoner kid, or like whatever. So it wasn't until all that shit that like literally one of the big things that had happened to me was like on September 12th, these like two kids in my high school were like, hey man, what did your people do? And I was like, what do you mean? Like what are you even talking about? So that was literally that day. Like, I mean, I hate that it's this cliche, but it was literally that day was kind of the big sort of like change for me. And it's interesting to have actually, so number one, like met all you guys in the UK, met other folks here, because I think in the US, at least I've noticed a thing there's a big split in this, at least the South Asian community, in terms of like the like well-off kids who like think that there's only like one way to be brown and that they like only represent this one ephemeral sort of a brownness. But like, I remember actually, so for me, like going to the UK, meeting all you guys was a really big deal to be like, oh, wait a minute. Like, yeah, we're like brown and stuff, but like, we're not like the same, you know, like we haven't had the same experiences and stuff. And obviously it's cool that we can relate to each other, but you know, like maybe there was a point where you couldn't stand somebody like me, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe I haven't like what, you know, and even just, it made me question a lot of stuff. Like, you know, like what right do I have to like really be pissed off about this, like shit that I think has sort of happened to me and maybe like on a larger level. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but just that it's different. Like, I mean, like your experience was a lot different than mine, man. And it's not that one is not valid or something. It's just like know those different.
Yeah, I guess so. I think I think
like Rekha, you know, I mean, she grew up in Queens and she experienced the same shit that you're talking about, but like I was like not, you know, Boxborough, Massachusetts, like wasn't happening there. So.
Yeah, interesting. I think there was an interesting. I guess there is a lot of socioeconomic elements of being brown here versus being brown in America. Because I remember actually, you've just reminded me on tour in like 2000. I was in San Francisco and I met this group of people, and they were lovely. And there was this girl who I kind of ended up, you know, hanging out with a bunch, and she was just like, you know, I guess, you know, like she made something like a statement that I was obviously from a very privileged, well-off background, and I was like, "You fucking kidding me? No, man, not at all." Like, and it was really interesting that her assumption was that because I was brown or Asian or South Asian, that I was
doctor or like type shit, you know.
Yeah,
whereas,
exactly.
Like, yes, my father was an engineer, but you know, he came over in like '74 with nothing, you know, like the Charles River frozen, blah blah. You know what I mean? But still, by virtue of the fact that he was part of that kind of elite crew of South Asians that was let in around, you know, after that, whatever that act was that passed, it did place me in a very different kind of social, you know, stratosphere or whatever.
That is interesting, because I think that not the majority, but a lot of South Asians here come from working class roots.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that in America, they've at least got college degrees.
Well, so the thing is, I think that
I mean the generation before us. I mean,
yeah. The thing is, the thing that's interesting though is that there's a lot of South Asians that aren't, and I think that the mistake that kids like me make a lot of the time is like, oh yeah, every time somebody makes like a doctor, lawyer, engineer joke, like I think that erases like a pretty sizable, part of the population here. So.
Well, I guess education is the way out of poverty, right? It's what my parents educated all of us. Do you know what I mean? It's like the way out of poverty was education, and
for sure.
I guess in the West it was free. You know what I mean? It was a way to get educated, as opposed to say in India or Pakistan we'd have to pay for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or at least when I say educated, I mean at a primary level, not university, college level. Because But actually, having said that, it used to be free in the UK, which was fascinating.
Yeah.
There's a whole kind of a generation in their 50s now that actually got paid to go to college, which was nuts.
What?
Yeah, they got given a grant to go to college.
I have $70,000 in debt that I'll probably never pay off, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's all going to collapse. That's what we're all hoping for. So.
Yeah, the end of college debt. Fuck, that's just nuts. What did you actually? So when you so for me, I was in music and as a DJ and stuff, and in bands while I was at uni, and it kind of ended up overriding my academic ambitions.
Yeah.
How did you negotiate that?
So I dropped out of college so for me it was that it basically I dropped out of college I think 2 or 3 times, and then by the time we started Kominas, that basically took over. I didn't go back until I took a 4-year hiatus from the band to get sober. Then I went back, finished my undergrad, and then ended up doing a graduate degree in community social psychology with kind of a focus in substance abuse prevention, that kind of thing.
Fucking hell, you've literally just went the other way.
Yeah, so man, and so I actually finished school technically in 2016. So I did, and I kind of made it a point to go back and not bother my parents and stuff, and so to like take out loans and all that shit. So, but yeah, that was a trajectory for me. Like I dropped out 2-3 times. I basically, it's funny we were talking about the community stuff, but like I went to college the first time, and like immediately all the sort of community kids that I had grown up, Desi community kids, like, they went to the like student associations and stuff. And like, I tried to go to those things, and I just was like, this shit is like not for me, dude.
Yeah. So,
I just,
Well,
I'm like, I'll sit around and smoke shisha with you guys, but like that's like about
sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say, so I dropped out the first time, and then I was actually in treatment for mental health stuff for about a year or so, and then I went back to school at a local campus, a local UMass campus in Lowell, Mass. And that's where I ran into Basim again after we had met once or twice when we were like 15 or 16, but we both had kind of like dropped out of school, and that's where we met. I still remember vividly kind of the library where we like met again, or we hung out the first few times, and that's kind of where the Kominas idea kind of first started.
That's awesome. I was going to say that like
2 or 3 times. Basim finished school, and then I just never fucking did. But I'm glad I when I went back in 2011 or 2012 or whatever, I was more kind of ready to be there as a student, and to kind of explore the other things. I at that time I thought I was done with like music. I thought and it was funny because like the band was continuing without me, so there was like a year of like jealousy where I was like, oh my god, they're so much better than when I was. I can't believe they kept going. Like, oh, I'm gonna pretend that I don't care, but I really care. But it's cool. But
you're like Stu Sutcliffe watching the Beatles.
Yeah, I mean, hardly. But basically, I had no plans of returning until I think we started chatting. It was 2013 or 2014. They also went on hiatus for a year when then. Basim and I kind of got back in touch, and then he was like, hey, we've got these songs, like, do you want to maybe record them? And I was like, Yeah, I'll think about it. And, in my head, I was like, yeah, man.
And that whole cool facade. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, whatever. I've got some like papers. Oh yeah, I was like, I couldn't do this. So the second gig, so our first gig back was with Himanshu and Charanjit Singh right before he passed.
As in Heems.
Yeah. So and it was Rana who was doing a film about Charanjit and stuff.
That I tell you what, I sorry, just to interject, right? I saw Charanjit play at Magnetic Fields in India, and man's a fucking. I helped him off stage because he was old, obviously. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, yeah, man.
He was such a sweet guy, man.
That's it. My sort of claim to fame is like I helped Charanjit Singh get off stage. You know what I mean? It's fucking wicked. And by the way, for anyone that doesn't know who Charanjit Singh is, he's basically the guy that invented acid house.
Yeah.
In India, got an 808.
Was it 10 Ragas to a Disco Beat? Is kind of his album, and then it sort of like was revived around I think mid 2010 or something like that. So.
Yeah, there's the famous Lost record that predates like every other form of dance music. It's just like a brother made it. You know what I'm saying? Like a brown kid made that shit.
Exactly.
But yeah, sorry, you were saying your first gig was with Heems and.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then we were supposed to. And Heems had invited us to play a second one in New York. But I had I was also, I'd been sober a couple of years. I was like, very like, and I was taking a summer class. It's some bullshit, like, elective thing. I needed to finish my, I could have easily skipped a class in retrospect, but I was like, guys, listen, I have this like really important class on Wednesday night. So I can't, I'll do the one gig, but I the second one. And I was like, I can't do this head first right now. Because if I do this, like it's going to just take. It's going to take. I don't know if you can relate to this.
Were you afraid of it?
I'm going to drop out of school.
Were you afraid of it triggering you back into like doing fun things?
Not so much that. It was more that I had sort of deliberately taken space to just like nurture this other part myself. Like I wanted to finish school. I was. I was working at a treatment center at the time. And I just I had done, a good amount of work in therapy actually to just kind of deal with all of the shit that comes with being like identified in this like one way and this one thing, defining your success for you, you know what I mean? Like emotionally. And if it's not happening, just like feeling like nothing else you do matters. Nothing else will be as important or successful as that.
Yeah.
So I'd done a lot of work there. And so I kind of very cautiously was trying to like dip my toes in, still kind of keep doing my thing. So even though it was like bullshit summer school course, which I easily could have like made one class, I turned that one thing down. But it just felt good at the time to be like, like it's cool. I can still do this, but I can still like do my own stuff. Of course, a year later, dove in head first. 4 years. But again, I think I took the time when I was ready. So I don't know if there's that.
I think so. I think that does answer my question. But that's interesting that you navigated that academic pull because I just didn't. I was like, fuck it, I just quit and just dove straight in.
But I think about it now, there is some element of the like, I guess to use his book title, like being the good whatever, like and thinking at least for us, whether I choose
the good immigrant, you mean?
I'm some punk that, doesn't care what people think, blah, blah, blah. But really, like, I still give a shit about what my parents think about me. And, like, I want to think that I'm, like, so I should finish this college degree. Just there's something about having this degree that, honestly, in 2021, like, college does not mean what it used to. It's a fucking business. Just learn
100%.
Dude. If there's any kids watching, don't go to college. Just, like, learn how to, like, code. Just, unless you, like, really... I'm not saying it didn't help, but the amount of debt that I'm like in now, I question that decision.
Well, it's interesting because I think that there's professions like accountancy and some legal aspects as well, where you need certain professional qualifications, but they're not looking for that bachelor's degree. They're not looking for that anymore. It's kind of like it's done, And personally speaking, and I dropped out of uni as well, but my thirst for, because that's such a fucking cliche, my thirst for knowledge, but finding out about shit is what I love doing. Like if there's like, for example, I love hacking shit. I love using things as a tool because I'm a monkey. all these computers are my tools, and I want them to do what I want them to do.
Macintosh computer.
Yeah, exactly. So I just hack the fuck out of everything because I want it to do what I want to do. And that, I don't think they can, I'm sure they can teach that at uni, but it wasn't anything that I studied that would help.
Yeah.
Or would have helped. But equally, I think that you've answered the question I was going to ask, which is what did your parents think about you dropping out? But also, there was a thing that I can definitely relate to, which was this idea of what an Asian community was meant to have been, like a Desi community. And I particularly felt that being really like a source of friction, like whether it was at the mandir or, religious sort of community gatherings, or at uni when there were, a bunch of like, I'm not a Desi sort of Bhangra, R&B, Bollywood fan.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not my thing. I could appreciate bits of it, but I'm a fucking freak and I revel in my freakness. And I again, it's weird that we're talking about this, but I remember distinctly when I was like, it was obviously when I first heard like Fundamental or Talvin or whatever, that whole thing was like, holy shit, this is my culture, but in a cool way. It's like, fuck, like brown people can do this too. Fuck, that's awesome. And it isn't just fucking Bhangra and Bollywood. There's something else, And even, but now obviously I can look back at sort of, like fucking Bally Sagoo's Wham Bam mixtape is amazing. You know what I mean?
What a G. Isn't Reka talking to him today?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit. Is that today?
I think it's today. Yeah, I'm gonna try to tune into that, dude. Wham Bam, Volume 2.
It was all about Volume 2. It was all about Volume 2. All about Volume 2. It was like. Did you guys get Patel rap as well?
I don't think.
It was like it was.
Wham 2 and then Star Crazy was the other one with Jugni and Bhangra Baja.
I didn't get that. Do you remember DCS?
DCS, no.
And Golden Star. They were like Bhangra bands.
Yes. Yeah.
Golden Star, I am a golden star. It's fucking wicked. But that's the thing. Looking back at all this shit, is that, you know what? Actually, I've got to share this. How do I unplug this? So there's something in my record collection which I'm really proud of, right? And I nicked this off. One of my brothers is Babla Disco Sensation.
Whoa!
It's amazing, and I've got another one that's like Disco Dandia.
I think their Guardian article or something just came out yesterday of Disco Stan. They just put out. They just put. What was the name of the
Dude, she's called Nermin. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's my name.
Nermin. Yeah, man, totally. About that. Yeah. Wild shit.
Yeah. And they're from Birmingham, right? So it's a brother sister from Birmingham. Sorry, I just talked all over you. What did you say?
It's okay, whatever. Disco Stan, we've been friends via MySpace and stuff since back in the day. So I think it's super cool that they're like actually launching a label and stuff. But that stuff fascinates me. Just like Sonny, also in my band, just put out this sort of like compilation where he's been trying to like discover or unearth or put together whatever more like rock and shit too. So
man.
One thing to say to you in the last thing that you were saying, like one thing that I realized about the whole like, whatever that thing is like amongst the first gen people like us, to simplify it too much is like, how much of whatever hold on to, what do we assimilate, the fear of culture, that kind of thing. One thing I realized for me is that I actually have been fortunate to create a relationship with Pakistan that is independent. Like that's all I really wanted, was to have a relationship with the country, with the people, with the culture too, in terms of like music and stuff, where I can now go and like I visit my family and stuff, but like I have tons of other shit to do there. Like I know all of the like musicians and like the whole Karachi and Islamabad and stuff. So that's one thing that I feel like I was super worried about when I was younger, but like without even realizing that I was doing. I took a trip, moved to Pakistan for a year just to go and see if I could like live and work.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I feel like, not to be like arrogant about it, but like I feel like I have more of a connection to it than some of these kids that I grew up with.
100%. Dude.
Go ahead.
Exactly the same with India for me. Exactly the fucking same.
You work there and stuff, and so it's like, maybe you don't fit into that like whatever whatever thing that like the brown kids around you, like the cool ones or whatever, did, but like you actually
Wait, dude, we're the cool ones, you dickhead.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, like bros and whatever.
Yeah. The typical fucking like, well, you know, you're not Desi. Yeah. Dude, I remember this distinctly, right? I used to have blonde hair and like one grey contact and one violet contact. I was a fucking freak, right? In Birmingham, of all fucking places.
You have to send me photographic evidence of this.
Oh, it's on my IG. It's all there's like, I used to have different, like, I was a weirdo, obviously. And obviously I was into death metal and drum and bass and gay house all at the same time, because it was like, you know, and I remember distinctly sat there waiting for a bus in Birmingham with my blonde spiky hair. And this is in fucking 1996, 97, right? This is like this is way back, and like, you know, blonde hair, one grey eye, and then this kid, this Desi kid, two or three of them came up like, you want to be white, don't you? And just fucking gunned me, and I was just like, and I was listening to, I think, what was it must have been 97 actually, 97, 98, and I was listening to, I think, a track by Osmani Sounds or something at the time, or like something from that Asian Underground thing. I was like, motherfucker, listen to this, shut the fuck up. Huh?
No, yeah, and you're probably just like, man, fuck you. Like, what do you know about?
Yeah, and I was just like, fucking listen to this, shut the fuck up. And I gave him the headphone, and he was like, yeah, and just fucked off. And I was just like, prick. And also, it's because because I think I had such a violent sort of time growing up. Yeah. I was feisty enough to just tell them to go fuck themselves. Because like, you're gonna get hit, you might as well tell them to go fuck themselves before you get hit. Yeah. You know, so I distinctly remember that, and being a certain type of Desi was really prevalent, and I think that it's really important to be able to sort of take what you're proud of in your culture and push it forward in a whole new direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And that's something that I think maybe that's what connects all of us brown freaks. You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it felt like. I think the first time, even when you guys reaching out to us, or even I don't know, even like with my new sort of like quarantine band, like if Bobby picks it up and like plays it or whatever, like there is something there that does kind of connect us. I think it's a slightly maybe different time now where there's like enough of us out there that like maybe you don't have to necessarily latch on to someone, be like, oh my god, you're brown like I'm brown, like.
Well, you say that because you're old. I've seen that with kids that don't know we exist, bro. People don't know we went through this shit, and they're going through the exact same fucking shit we did, and they're just like, oh my god, they're brown. We're only saying that because we're fucking old. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I was thinking in terms of like the the conversations that we're having here, in terms of like representation of whatever TV and film and stuff like that. Like more brown people in the media.
That's
stuff.
true.
But I just feel like maybe there's enough now that like not like you can like not like everybody just by virtue of the fact it's not that it sort of has to go beyond that. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's just for old.
But actually, maybe you're right. You've got me thinking, questioning myself, because I'm saying that obviously our boy Riz is fucking there. I mean, there was like people like, and bring up Prav in the comments, but yeah, people like Foreign Beggars touring the world. There's all these new sort of Munna's here, wicked. All these brown role models.
So, yeah.
Sorry, bro. What?
I was saying hi to Syra. I think she was right before Munna. So
hi. But yeah, there are these more prevalent public brown figures for sure than there were in our time. There's I mean, shit. I was trying to think about who was a role model for me growing up that was brown, and literally it was Prince. Do you know what I mean? That was it. There was no one that was weird, gay looking, and covered in makeup and skinny and from an industrialized working class area.
Yeah,
apart from Prince.
People always give me shit, but like for me, that was the fucking band from Pakistan, Junoon. So they'll always.
No way, Junoon was your thing.
Yeah, man, because it was like dudes playing guitar, man. I was like, what? This is amazing.
Dude, that's wicked.
So I know his family and stuff, and we've all become friends now. But like, yeah, I mean, are you kidding? Like or Vital, even before them, I guess Vital Signs, because they were more of like the poppy. But dude, yeah, as soon as I saw this dude playing guitar,
amazing.
They were my first concert. Actually, no, my first concert was Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. But
how cool! Fuck you and your coolness, you bastard. Fuck off. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan in like '95 here in Boston at at Symphony Hall. And my dad was the only one in the entire audience who went up to the sound guy and was like, "Excuse me, it's a little too..." This is Symphony Hall in Boston, mind you, like one of the most acoustically perfect places you can listen to music. And he goes up to the sound guy and he's like, could you maybe turn it down just a little bit? Because it's just a little too loud.
That is peak uncle. Your dad is the alpha uncle. The most uncle I've ever fucking heard in my life. That is it.
He was like, yeah, and I think he even was like, maybe just the mids, or if you could just bring like the 2K down. And he's trying to tell this to this like the Symphony Hall like sound.
No way. Munna's first concert was Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan too. What?
Oh my God.
I'm insanely jealous of you both. Fuck you both, bastards.
Dude, I have to just give a shout out to Munna. So Munna was one of my first, I think, friends on, or one of the Kominas' first friends on MySpace, and so she's kind of like an integral part of that, like whatever this crazy online community building thing is.
Munna's a G. Actually, you know what? I need to pee, but because it's you, I'm going to take you in with me.
Of course, I was shocked that you didn't have to do it yet.
Yeah, I'm going to just take you in.
Yeah.
Carry on.
See who else is in these. All right.
No, so talk about Munna, because Munna is a gangster. And
yeah, are you okay? You're literally in the bathroom. Okay.
I'm gonna sit and weep. It's fine.
Yeah, he's. Who else is on here? We got Syra. We got Sohadra, Pravi. What up?
No, but talk about Munna's work because she is a G. She is such a gangster.
Munna she put out a song. She put out a single. Was it last year? And I don't know if Munna, if you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she played. Yeah, dude, you should listen to it. She played. I think she at least played drums, if not everything on there. I don't know if it was just drums, and it's a fucking awesome song. So one day I would love to jam with Munna. I'm just putting it out there, hopefully.
But she also runs like this whole camp for girls to learn to play instruments.
I mean, she does.
Like what's it called, Munna?
She's involved with Girls Rock Camp in Houston.
Girls Rock, that's it.
So, founder of one of the original kind of members of the Desi Punks group, which has grown into this like wild community. So, and honestly, I mean, they've helped us book tours, and it just it's been super cool. So thank you.
Amazing.
Oh, Rena is here as well. Hi, Rena.
Look at all the brown freaks coming out to play. It's awesome. Actually, I've got to show you this. Can you see that in the background? Hang
on. Yeah. What is it? I can't. Is this your home?
Yeah.
What? It looks very fancy. What is that?
It's the Hulk and Thor and the Joker pissing.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we got Rafi here also from the super cool band Ravi Shavi. Him and I are going to jam tomorrow, so I'm excited. So,
I love this. All the freaks.
Fuck, we were filming the video for Disco Uncle in this punk squad with my dad. And I met, and Rafe was there, and he was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And we've been friends. And then we did a bunch of touring together. So, big fan.
Disco Uncle is my favorite track. I think I played that on Six Music over
Mine
here.
too.
It's fucking wicked.
I don't play on that track. So that was one of those songs that was on that album when I wasn't in the band, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! I can't believe I'm part of this. I'm never gonna fucking..." And now it's like it's so cool to be able. It's cool to play it as a fan. You know what I mean? Like of this, because it was like I really enjoyed and was jealous when I was listening to it. Like, no. So all those songs on that, I think it's album number 3 that will be played. I just miss playing live so much, but yeah, it's a fun song. It's obviously has become kind of like something that I can say is mine too now. I did not record it.
You didn't write it. You get no publishing from it.
I didn't write it. I fucking know, man. I just fucking appropriated it, and then my dad is in the video now. So I mean,
is that your dad? I was just actually going to ask you, who is the uncle?
That's my dad, man. We made him a punk jacket, or somebody made it for him. He just came. I just literally, and it's funny because like we were supposed to shoot a video for a different song, and then it just didn't work out. And we were like, and then I just asked my dad. I was like, "Hey, would you want to hang out with us for 3 days?" And my dad literally was like, "Yeah, all right. Just tell me where to go." So it's my dad. That's his car, his like van.
That's amazing.
That breaks down, and he was cool as hell. He came out with us to this like super. You know, it was filmed in Providence, so all over Providence. So he came to this like punk show that we did, and he's like in the crowd and stuff, and like, so he, and then
so funny.
Him and I are in like a recording studio, and he's like mixing the stuff, and he's like yelling at me, and it was a really nice like bonding experience with my dad. Oh yeah, and then he spray paints shit too, so we got him to like run with us, like pretend to do graffiti and everything. So my dad's a genius.
You know, that's awesome. I think there's one, not regret, but there's one thing that I wish, like when I first went on tour and I was like staying in fucking fancy hotels and all that kind of stuff, and I was just like, fuck, I wish I could take my dad to experience this shit, just so he could see, you know, just how fucking far we've come or whatever the fuck. Just so he, you know, like, you know, for him and you know, and my mom, travel was always about sort of religion or family or some shit like that. Holidays they never had a holiday as such, you know what I mean? It was always very perfunctory. And I think going on tour to India, like you were talking about Pakistan or whatever, I was like on tour in India, I was like, this is sick, this is wicked. I wish my dad could have experienced this.
Yeah, you know? I'm super fortunate. You know, my parents are you know, good health and stuff, and they've been my biggest supporters since, you know, not that early on they weren't like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? But since then, they've been just so like, you know, they're super proud, and they like, you know, post articles and send them to their friends, and they saved all the like whatever magazines, the newspaper clippings and stuff. So, but they've come to shows and stuff, and so yeah,
that's wicked. I remember actually when I first got. Yeah. Sorry, bro. What did you say?
I was just I feel very fortunate because I know that's not the case for everybody. You know?
Yeah, I think I was again talking about like gratitude. I was really, really lucky that my parents let me just do what the fuck I want. Probably because I'm the youngest of like 4 siblings, and like,
so there's 4 of you.
I'm part of 4. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
But they're all significantly older. Like I was a mistake, basically. Like there's like a 15-year age gap between us. Like it's ridiculous. My parents like had some fun one night, and then ta-da, here I am. They fucked up, you know what I mean? It's like they gave birth.
Wow, you're the youngest of 4.
Yeah, totally. I'm
the oldest of 3.
You're the oldest one?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Also in Kominas, it's me and Basim are the oldest, and then Sonny and Corner are the youngest. So that's
wow.
All I talk about all the time.
You're the oldest?
I'm the fucking oldest.
No fucking way.
Oldest, the only son. I have 2 very, very mature adult younger sisters, you know, who are light years beyond me.
They're just gonna kick your ass. Fuck. Talk about bucking the fucking norms. Jesus, you're the oldest. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, I think that you know, in terms of my relationship with my folks, obviously we're from a humble background, but they were always really supportive. To a degree, they were like, you know, as long as you're okay, that's fine, which is great. But then also when I got on, when I first got my first regular radio show on the Asian network years ago, my mom, bless her, ran around the whole house and the car, putting on all the radios for ratings. It's so cute.
Sweet, man.
So cute. Just like, oh, yeah, really sweet. Hang on, wait. One is saying that first influential brown band was Asian Dub Foundation. I mean, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. And Cyrus saying your first gig was Terrorvision. What?
Terrorvision, but my first.
Oh, dude, I played Underworld with Charged, with the band I was in. Yeah. And actually, we were really lucky because ADF were fans of ours. So.
Dude, I mean, so with ADF, I didn't discover it sucks. Like I discovered the Boston told when I was like 19 or 20. So I was like super late to the game.
Wow, really?
I always think about it. I'm like, if I knew about this band, like maybe I would have like been a better adjusted human being. I don't know, or something. I don't know. Like, because yeah, I mean, Chandra-san, like from a guitar player's perspective, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
it was. You know what? It was amazing. I think everyone in around about sort of the mid, sort of 96 was a great year for music in England. Like 1996 just blew open everything over here musically. So there was like Goldie, Left Field, Massive Attack. There was like all sorts of cool shit was happening, you know? And then obviously 97 was like Talvin and ADF and all that stuff like became popular, which was just, it was great. It really was great. Like, you know, I think there was, when Sam Zaman passed away, State of Bengal, I wrote this sort of article about him, and in it I talk about that transition of being the bully to suddenly being the hottest accessory on a girl's arm because I was brown. It was fucking, and that was 1997. You know, that switched completely. And I think that
1997, I was probably still rocking Green Day. Yeah, that's probably what I was doing at that time. Whatever, Green Day. I'll fight.
Green Day, what? Sorry,
I said Green Day is awesome. I'll fight you.
Oh yeah, for sure. But dude, there was a TV show over here called The Word, right, which is on Channel 4. Because we only had 4 TV channels in the UK at this point in sort of the early 90s. Early to mid 90s, and The Word was on late at night, and it was all it had was like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was just out there late night TV programming, and they also had Nirvana's first TV appearance in the UK, Snoop's first TV appearance in the UK, but because they're British, we're fucking idiots, right? We're idiots. So we had a children's TV character called Emu, which was like this puppet, right? Rod Hull and Emu, right? Which was this TV like thing for kids. And they put Rod Hull and Emu on the couch with fucking Snoop.
Snoop Dogg?
Snoop Dogg, Rod Hull and Emu. It's fucking amazing. Hang on, I'm going to pull this up. Right? And this just typifies the UK. And Khalif's, Khalif's fucking great. Snoop Dogg, I'm going to show you this, right? This is just how fucked the UK is, right? This is 1994, right? And this typifies how we deal with fame in the UK.
What?
So thanks a lot for coming on. Easy, Snoop. That's something we're doing. The more you shout out, the less I can talk to him. So has it been really exciting coming over here?
Yeah, it's been real cool. Everybody over here is straight.
Sorry?
Everybody over here is straight.
Not everyone, as you'll find out later on in the show. Well, I take your point. But the thing that shocked me is how excited you were. Just
Hang on, let me just jump this forward. Right. Okay, so hang on a second. I can check this shit out. This is ridiculous.
Oh my god. That's ridiculous. Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Snoop was probably just like, what the hell?
Exactly, like proper fucked up. So my point was that Aki and Fundamental played that show.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and it was the first time I saw anyone of like our color, like any brown fucker on TV, and I was like, oh my god, and it just changed everything.
Another band that I like wish that I had discovered, younger. But it was, I mean, again, it was such a trip to like, it's still a trip to kind of call him a friend and stuff, but what a guy.
And obviously, like ADS first album was on Nation Records, which was the label they set up. It's just, it's mad how all these things connected.
Yeah.
It's proper good. But yeah, so listen, you also mentioned your lockdown band, and I don't know anything about it. Tell me.
Oh, yeah. So it's a really fun, so the band is called John the Secret. And we basically just started by sending each other like GarageBand and Logic sessions. It's with 2 really good friends of mine, Omar Wakar, who used to be, way back in the day we met, he was in this band called Diacritical. Then he's gone under the moniker Star Must. And Tanya Pollitt, aka Saraswati Jones, an incredible like singer, organizer, guitarist, ukulele player. She's also fronts this other Desi punk band out here called Awaz, though. So we just basically formed over during lockdown. We just started sending each other ideas. We've been collaborators and stuff for many, many years in other aspects. But I think the way that it happened was that Tanya and I were doing this virtual kind of open mic. I think around March or April, the first one. There's this organization called Submental Drift, here in the U.S. They have these monthly open mics. There's one in like DC, Boston, New York, I think out in the Bay, and there's probably some other ones that I'm forgetting. But
sick.
Obviously after lockdown and everything, it was a live open mic, which then went virtual. So on that first one, I think Tanya messaged me. She was like, "Hey, we should do something." Just so she sent me the first bits of this like garage band session, where she had been playing uke and singing a little bit, and then from there we just ended up writing a few songs. It's been fun. We finally put them out, just super kind of under the radar at the beginning of the year. Bobby playlisted them on his show, so it was really cool. And
nice.
I'm sure we're going to be releasing new stuff. We have
That's
a couple
sick.
That we haven't put out yet. But yeah, just it was the first, in those first couple of months of lockdown. I don't know how it was for you, but I was like, this is great. I'm going to be super productive. I got all this time. And then before all the depression and stuff sank in, so we like banged out a bunch of tracks and stuff. And then, and then Corno, my bandmate from Kominas, he's actually a phenomenal cello player. Not a lot of people know this.
Oh, shit.
He plays cello on the track "Domije" Amar. So man, we just trying to stay sane. Can't really I haven't been able to jam with anybody in so long. So
I mean, that's entirely the point of these conversations, is to help me get to stay abreast of what day of the week it is and what time of day it is. So every day at 6 p.m. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. I'm talking to a friend to get drunk.
Hi, Vinny.
Oh, Vinny's here. Oh, yeah. Why are you wearing clothes? So you want dick. This for you, Vinny. There you go. That's for you, baby.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. There you go. That was just for Vin. Yeah. Oh, so actually, someone's asking, have you ever heard Iranian songs? I guess, I don't think I have. Have you?
Like Iranian music in general? Yeah. Actually, I did, my dad was a huge Gugush fan, and not that that's the only Iranian artist that's out there, but that's kind of but yeah, I grew up listening to Gugush. Also, there was a bunch of cool Iranian bands that were releasing music and stuff around the time that our Duck recorded. There was this one, Hypernova, another one, the Yellow Dogs. So yeah, yes.
Sick. I don't know. Send me links, please.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know enough. And also, I think there's a whole load of bands in Pakistan that are
how could I forget Vote Hezbollah, Kurosh, the original Takwa Core. Thank you, Manna.
Vote Hezbollah. I'm going to put that into Google and police are going to come fucking knocking on my door. No. Yeah, I'm not going to... But yeah, man, send me links of bands I should check out. And also your friend at Spotify, because I need some shit playlisted, motherfucker. Sort me out.
Of course.
Yeah, man. It's like...
He's like a software engineer. I don't know if he's still...
not in curation. Damn it.
No.
Damn it. That's it. That's the new... It's bizarre to me, actually, the whole way that, you have to sort of spend money on social media campaigns to get Spotify plays. Yeah. And you get zero returns.
0.008 fucking of a cent. I don't even know. Yeah.
Right, at least with Radio Play, you're getting some revenue back from publishing. You know what I mean? Like, at least there's that. It's
actually,
just...
so my bandmate, Corno, he is one of the founders of this union, called the Union of Musicians and Allied here in the U.S., who've been doing some pretty cool, all sorts of different campaigns, one of which is demanding that Spotify pay a penny per stream.
Right.
So they've been launching a bunch of different cool
There's no way they'll agree to that. There's no fucking way. There's no way.
Like, they're doing a bunch of other stuff. So they're trying to like guarantee musicians health insurance, that kind of stuff, and
that's not going to work either. Like, I think the musicians union in the UK have been trying that for years. Like in terms of certain.
What is it? What is it called there?
The musicians union, the MU. Yeah, okay. MU, and it's just like. I didn't find it particularly beneficial. In fact, I've never found any creative union beneficial that I've been part of. So, yeah, I mean, I joined Equity when I became a presenter because I wanted to sort of safeguard my name, essentially. But that was it. There's not really anything in terms of stuff that's directly benefited me.
I remember one of the first things you told me was like, "You've got to sort out your PRS, bro. You got to sort out your PRS."
And it's fucking true that honestly, like it's fucking true. Like I said, so PRS is basically the revenue you get being a songwriter. So if someone, so famously, I was going to give Britney Spears as an example, but I can't remember which one. I think it was, so Kathy Dennis is a UK pop star from the 80s, and she has become a songwriter. So she wrote a song for Britney, and that became massive. And she ends up getting revenue and royalties because she's a songwriter. and that's essentially PRS. It's the same as like ASCAP in America, right?
BMI. We have BMI, so
right, BMI, ASCAP, and all that. So every time a song is played on the radio, a little bit of that money gets trickled back to the songwriter. And what a lot of young musicians and producers don't do is sort of register their songs to get that fucking money.
So easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, so for every artist I speak to, I'm like, motherfucker, do this now, because that's a revenue stream that will last your whole life. Just fucking do it, you know? Yeah, and it's very simple and it doesn't cost you anything. But I think it's also, it's bizarre the world works that way, but people aren't taught that.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you go to like a music business class or whatever. But, someone's asking, my father is not Iranian, but he is from Balochistan in Pakistan. So that borders, he's from a place called Quetta, which borders Afghanistan and Iran. So
nice. Very nice. Right, so I'm going to go pee again because I have a tiny bladder.
Right.
And I think I might go make some dinner. Yeah, I think so. I think so, because I think it might not be a pee, it might be a poo as well. So I think I need to sort of...
Thank you for letting us know. We were all trying to know.
Movement has come.
Thanks for having me. Really.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I'm just going to write back to this person. John...
Actually, there's a question here saying, what's the best way to support? Yeah, Bandcamp is awesome. Buying stuff from a band is awesome.
Exactly. Kominas.
You've just spun out hard, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Sadulase. Totally.
There you go.
Bro.
Cool.
So
all right, broski. Well, big love, and big love to all the band. Mwah. Love you. Right, I'm going to go do Tati now. Bye.